Zari. Welcome to Finding the Voices. I am Monica Ingatam.
Hi, welcome to Finding the Voices. I am Monica Ingatam. Today we have a very special guest who is a student himself. He is right now undergoing an industrial training in the Britannia Group of Hotels at London. He is going to share with us about his education in the line of hospitality. Many of our student listeners have requested to feature students who are right now studying abroad, just to get an idea of how they got into that line of education and also share their experience. So this episode is dedicated to all my student listeners who have been requesting to feature a student. Hey Rabi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us today in our show.
Hi Iche, thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for accepting, to be in our show, to share your story, your experiences today. So to start with, can you share a brief introduction about yourself?
Hi, my name is Rabi Moirangthem and I'm from Nacho Pantong of Bisempur district. I studied my kindergarten at LCM school in Moirang, and I was sent to boarding school from class 1 until 10 at Xavier School in Imphal, and after that I did my higher secondary from HRD Academy in Imphal, and I went to Delhi to do my college, BA in Pol Science, and I switched to Bachelor of Science in Hotel Management later after 2 semesters.
Okay, so you mentioned that you left your home in Moirang and started staying in a boarding school from class 1 to 10 in Imphal, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to know your experience or challenges in leaving home so young.
Yeah, it was very difficult because I was just about 7, 8 years old in class 1 back in 1999, I remembered, and it was very difficult. I missed home a lot and I used to cry a lot, but because of my stay in boarding school, it helped me a lot later on. I became more responsible and I'm a much stronger person now because of my boarding schools.
I see. So you left to be in a boarding school because in Moirang there are no good schools, or?
Yeah, because I went to the boarding school because my parents wants me to get a very good education, and they think that if I go to Imphal, which is the capital, they have better school there. So, and I had a relative studying in Xavier and they have good boarding school. So if I studied there, they thought it would be better for me. So I was sent because of the reason that there's not much good school back in my hometown.
I see. So, from your experience, you were quite young, but
it's a mix.
You did miss, you had challenges of staying away from home, but you felt that it helped you, with the skills to be more independent and mingle easily with people later in life.
Yes, because I stayed with a lot of people from different backgrounds. So when I go out now, it's very easy for me to interact with people, and I'm not really shy to go and talk to people. So it helped me a lot.
I see. But do you think like you're staying in the boarding school distance your relation with your parents in any way?
Yeah, it's like I miss my home, but now that has made me like more away from home, and I don't really miss home. I miss my family, but like I'm used to staying outside my home. So whenever I go home,
I see.
I'm happy for a few days, and I want to go back.
So after your 10th, you did, your class 11 and 12 in HRD, and again you had stayed somewhere in a hostel.
No, after my higher secondary, I went to Delhi and I stayed by myself with friends. So it was
Okay.
I only stayed hostel till high school. I was by myself after that.
Okay, so you mentioned a little bit in your introduction about your change in your line of education. Right now you're doing hotel management, but before you said you started with political science, correct?
Yes, because back in after my higher secondary, it was very confusing. My parents wants me to give the the doctor entrance and the engineering
Okay.
entrance, all the examination, and I was not interested in all those exams. So I said I'm not giving. I want to do something different. So I went to Delhi to figure out stuff which I want to study, and some of my relatives suggested me that why don't you study political science so you can give civil service exam later. So I did study it for 2 semesters, and I didn't see myself like doing really well in the course, and it was not interesting and not my interest. So I switched because of the reason I switched to hotel management. Parents were always been very supportive from very young age because I was away, and now that I grown up, they think that I'm more responsible now. So when I told them that I wanted to change my college, I talked to my dad that this is not, I'm not really interested in this subject anymore, and this is not going to take me anywhere. So I convinced them well enough for me to be able to change to another college, and they were okay with it. So there was no pressure on me.
So do you think overall, like, you know, in Manipur, mostly parents set the expectation for students to go into the regular mainstream line of medical or engineering because of their lack of knowledge in the different line of education?
I feel that a lot of parents in Manipur, they either want their son and daughter either to be an engineer or doctor because that's only what they know of as a career.
Right. So it's not like your parents had any problem in you changing your subject.
My dad is really supportive. Like, I mean, he doesn't expect anything big from me. He wants me to do good, but he doesn't have like I have to be this one. But my mom, she wants me to do really good in my studies, and they don't have like you need to be this. So I said I want to study this, and they're okay with it. But my parents was very different because they think that I know more than them in terms of.
I see. So what does your parents do, just as a background of your family?
Yeah, my dad works for the electricity department as an assistant engineer in Moirang, and
Okay.
my mom works for the village panchayat. She's a member of the village panchayat.
Okay.
When I went back from my holiday this December last year, and I went to get my I went to do my airline ticket booking from a relative, and they asked me, what are you studying? And I said, I'm studying Bachelor of Science in Hotel Management. They asked me, oh, why do you study that? What's going to happen in your future? And like they were not very happy with that. And they said, why don't you study agri, or why don't you study this, that? So they don't really know what is hotel management as of now yet in Manipur. So it will be very challenging for the parents to accept different career option for their children, I think.
Okay. So right now, like, can you tell a little bit about, your course and details about it and how you got yourself into the industrial training right now in the Britannia group of hotels in London?
My course is a Bachelor of Science in Hotel Management for 3 years in Amity University, which is one of the biggest university in India in Noida. It's a Noida campus I studied, and it's a 3 years course, and we're supposed to go for a 6-month industrial training, and we had the option to choose either to do in India or you can go abroad for it. So earlier I got back in Delhi, I got in JW Marriott in Delhi for the industrial training. I got through the interview, and it was a very nice hotel, but I thought like this is my second option. I wanted to go abroad, and I tried for the US, but we had problem with US visa, so they said why don't you go for United Kingdom, because we have like arrangement with the university. So I had the interview with the hotel here, and I got through Britannia group of hotels, and the hotel name is the International Hotel. It's right around the corner where the shooting is happening right now. So
Do you have to arrange for yourself or your college assist you in getting the industrial training in different location?
we for London, my college helped me because we had a tie-up with some agency back in London. So the college helped us get through it, and even if I have to do it in India, it's the college help us in getting the placement for the industrial training. If I have to do in Delhi, then I don't have to spend any money because it's all. I live in Delhi and I don't have to spend for going anywhere. But since I'm coming to London, I have to maintain like that's £1,000, which is like 1 lakh in my account for 3 months. And I had to pay for my visa and so many extra. So it was a bit of spending.
I see.
It's a paid internship, so we get paid per hour, so it's good. We get paid back.
Oh, okay.
It's more or less the same.
Okay. So it is only that, yes, you do need money for the initial, getting into the hotel for the training. But once you're there, you are paid and you are able to sustain with that.
Yes. So we get paid, and it depends on where you work. So if, for example, if you work in a very busy hotel, you get more hours and you get paid more. And yeah, it depends. But I think it's good enough to pay my rent and my things to buy and eat and live here. So it's good. Delhi is catching up to the international level, but in Manipur, everyone is like, you need to go to tuition, coaching classes a lot, which is sometimes unnecessary, but they still have to go because their friends are going. But in Delhi, if you have to talk about my college, we have a very good infrastructure, and it's one of the most reputed university in India. But teaching wise and practical wise, we're still catching up. We're not that up to the international level. But here in London, it's more of practical, and they take it very seriously for college. So like, if you are only interested in going to college, you go to college. Otherwise, you don't go to college here. In India, it's different. Back in my school days, so many students used to go for coaching classes, and they wanted to go to the best teacher, and it was very unnecessary if they teach you well in school. For example, I never go to coaching for my English subject in higher secondary, and I score like 90 out of 100 in English. So it doesn't matter whether you go for coaching or not, as long as you work hard with your teacher. And tuition is more of one-to-one experience, because we go for special coaching when we have some difficulty with the subject. But in Manipur, it's more of like an extension to our school, so it doesn't feel like a special tuition. It feels like a school.
But do you think if the student doesn't go for any tutoring, the classes what you get in the school would be sufficient?
Yeah, I think if you study in a very good school, like good school in the sense that if there's good teachers and if they have good classes, if they teach well in the school, I think it's enough for them, because we go to school from 9 to 3 or 4, and you need the time for like sports or some other extracurricular activities. So that spoils everything.
Right. Yeah, that brings a very good point, because most of the students in Manipur go to school and the remaining time you go for tuition, so actually that leaves you with no time for extracurricular activities, right?
Yes. So you don't have, you need to find out what you want to do in life and what are you interested apart from your studies. So you need to have like develop from childhood. We need to develop our likes, and later on we can use that as our career. So that thing is not there in Manipur as of now.
Now, what do you do like on a daily basis right now in your training?
Oh yeah, it's very professional approach here. We are called trainees here, but we're supposed to be trainee. But here in London, you're expected to perform on a professional level. So from day one, I was treated like an employee, not like a trainee. So they will teach me everything which is expected by a person, any employee working in the hotel. So I learn on everything, and it's more of like a practical thing. So I was expected to be perfect, learn a lot of things, and now I work. I call it work, not training now, because I've known so many things. And I used to work. I used to work for the restaurant, for the breakfast service in F&B, and now I also work for the front office, which is the reception, for 2 months. And now I'm working between like 3 restaurants altogether in 1 week, different places.
Okay.
We have a meeting with the HR every once in a while, like twice in a month, and she would review our training. We have a logbook where we need to fill up and get it signed from all the supervisor and manager that we learn, and we've gone through all the process, all the SOPs. So we have like a mentor.
So what are the activities you actually covered during your training? Like if you can give example of, what did you do?
Yeah, like for UK, they only give a visa for specific training, like for F&B or front office or kitchen. So I was given a visa for F&B, which is more like the restaurant. But I got the opportunity in the front office because they had a option to go to the front office. They had few people, they need people there. So they interviewed me. They had a separate interview for that, and I got through the interview and I worked there. So when I work in the restaurant, for example, if I work for breakfast, we would get everything ready before the guests come, like all the things ready in the buffet for the breakfast, and we were responsible for to open the restaurant and the seating. And when the guests arrive, we need to check all the room numbers and we need to take the payment. So everything which is there in the restaurant we are supposed to learn, and now after 4 months, almost 5 going, I'm able to handle the restaurant which I work in the morning as a supervisor. So that's the scope of the training.
Okay.
We have altogether 3 restaurants. We have Jenny's where there's like the breakfast is served and dinner and breakfast is served.
Mm-hmm.
We have another restaurant called Spice. It's an Indian restaurant, and we have Pizzeria, which is an Italian restaurant, and we have 2 bar, and we have a pub. So altogether we have 5 F&B outlets inside the hotel, and it's a very big hotel. It has 444 rooms.
Now you are managing the restaurant, so just wanted to know a little more about your interaction with the internal staff.
Yeah, because most of we have like few trainees with me in the hotel, in the place where I work. So we have the chef. We have a different chef for the breakfast. So we need to work in coordination in order to serve the guests at the right time, because sometimes the restaurant can be very busy. So we need to work, we need to have a teamwork, and we should be team spirited. If we have problem with the staffs, it gets really difficult because we're not very coordinated. So I think it's good so far. We have a very good team. We are being trained for the supervisory level, for the management level. So if I am like the supervisor or manager, I'll be responsible from everything, from staff attendance, like from staffing to how many days they work and their holidays, and if there's a guest complaint, handling guest complaint, and like the forecast, how many guests we're expecting and how many food, the purchase, like how many foods we should order, and the drinks, and if there's any issue with the staffs, then I'm the supervisor or the manager will be responsible for that. And right now,
so in essence, is it correct to say you would be a person of that role, like people in the chef department, the waitress, everybody is going to kind of report to you, and then you would work together as a team?
Yes, they're training me and all the trainee to be a supervisor, so that would be me in future, and not as of now. As of now,
right. That's very interesting. So you have actually had work experience in the field only in London. You have not worked in India?
I have worked in India for like few months, 2-3 months, at a hotel called Surya Hotel in Delhi. It's like
okay. So what did you do there?
Vocational training. I was trained in the front office. I work in front office. I handle the guest relation. So when we have guest complaint, I had to, for example, the guest needs something, I had to transfer the call, or I didn't do the check-in because I had to be trained to use the system for at least 2-3 weeks to use the Opera system where most hotel uses. So I didn't check in or check out any guests, but I do like most of the back office where if they need anything, so I do it for them, and I observe how they handle the guest request. In India, it's a very service-oriented it's a very service-oriented because they focus more on service. But in London, it's not very service-oriented because people have different attitude, different thinking, and here people are not very demanding comparing to India. Because if you go to a 5-star hotel in India, right from the moment you enter the hotel, you'll be totally treated differently like here. I mean, there will be a person greeting you at the gate, and there will be a guest relation executive, and there will be people who know that they will be expecting you to arrive, so they would know that you're arriving there. But here it's different. I mean, here it's not very service oriented. It's more like it's only service oriented when you go at some level, like only the very high end hotels does that. So it's a lot of difference. It's more demanding in India than here, work-wise. If I'm not mistaken, most of the people who work for the concierge, which is the bellboy, they get tipped. When they carry the bag, they are tipped. And even if you work in the restaurant, they are tipped. But here it depends on where you work, because and in India we have a service tax, but here it's like all inclusive, and the pricing is very different. So for example, if the guest is very happy here, they will tip you, and it's most likely that if they're not happy with the service, they'll not tip you here. But I think it's they're paying more here, so they expect you to work more harder here. So if you work hard enough, you get good tips here, very good tips comparing to India. It's a very good advice for people who doesn't know about tipping. I think you will always need to check whether there's a service charge when you go to a restaurant in the menu. If they have a service charge or service thing, then it's that you don't have to tip them, because they already charge you for the service. But if you are happy with the service, then normally you tip like 10% or 5% of the total bill.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, here generally what I have seen is if people are really happy, then they would go as high as 18% to 20%. But generally, nevertheless, I have seen people tipping all the time, most of the time.
I think in US they don't have like a service charge, but in London, in India, we have like a service charge. So in London they do get tips, but it's not very, like in America is more, I think, than London in India. In UK, if you work in a restaurant, you don't take the tips by yourself. I mean, whoever gets a tip at the end of the shift, we split.
I see. Okay, so it's like a group, like
it's not for ourselves. So as far as I know, here in UK, if I get a tip, I'll give back on the till, and when we are done, they will divide among who all are working. So it's not like a tip for myself. We all share the tips here. So I think that's good.
I see.
We work together. So the maximum tip I got was I worked for like 3 hours and I got 10 pounds. 10 pounds is like...
Okay. Our student listener, why should they join hotel management, and what is that, that keeps you in this line of education?
For me, I was told in the beginning that hotel management is not for those people who are expected to work 9 to 5, because it's very...
Yes.
In terms of working hour, it's very odd. Sometimes you have to work like in the very early morning or late night, and you're expected to work on weekends. So it's not for those people who wants to have like an easy life, I would say, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So it's for those people who love more excitement, more fun. You should be really passionate about this industry, otherwise you wouldn't enjoy working here. And if you're really interested and passionate about this industry, I mean, it's not only in hotels where you can work. After my course, I can be working in the cruise liner, in the airline, airports, and because we get my college has a very good placement, and all the companies like all the airline and even the duty free at the airport, they come to employ from our college. So it's not only a hotel. Wherever there is services, even bank, because a lot of high-end banks, they have like a customer service. So you can work at the bank as a guest relation. So there's a lot of avenue apart from...
What would you say, are your challenges or challenges which you have faced
for example, the main reason why I had to go abroad was the training in India is very hectic, because work-wise, the working condition is not really been improved in India. And if I have to work in India, I'll be doing like a 6-day shift, and there will be no pay. During the training, they only pay like 1,500, and they make you work. They treat you differently because you're a trainee. So that's the downside of India if you have to do in India. But later on, for work-wise, Now it's improving, I think, because a lot of international hotel company are establishing their flagship hotels in India. For example, in Delhi, we have 10 new hotels coming up, or like the Marriott. We have the JW Marriott, we have the Hilton, Hyatt. All the big companies are there in Delhi now, and all the big cities. So they're changing the working condition. So I think in about 5 years, it will be different.
So what is the next step for you
after
now?
I go back, I'll be going back to Delhi in July, and I have 2 more semesters, and I'm planning to study Masters in Hospitality Management, either from London or somewhere outside India, so that I can get a junior management level job. If I have to study here, I wouldn't be having like a 5-day class. They only have 2 or 3 days classes in a week, and we are allowed to work 20 hours a week. So that will be enough for me to be sufficient in terms of my expenditure.
Okay, so you can sustain yourself as well as get your education and figure out what kind of focus you want to. Okay, so besides hotel management, tell me, what do you do about, maybe you can share a little bit about your hobbies.
I love traveling, and I'm a very passionate coffee drinker. I think it was last month, I applied at Starbucks for a part-time, like 20 hours a week. I was trying to get a job there, and I got the interview luckily, and I was called after 2 weeks that are you able to work out, can you come and work for us? And I couldn't work for them because I had too many hours in my hotel, but I really love to work for them. So I'm really passionate about coffee and tea and traveling.
So how old are you?
I'll be 21 in September, so I'm 20.
Okay, all right. So you must probably be the youngest guest speaker we had in our show.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, and I was very surprised because I get a lot of feedback from my listeners, and some of my listeners really they have aspiration to study outside, and they're like, oh, Iche, can you have somebody who is studying outside? Share what they're doing right now. So it's very different when somebody who is working talks about their education 5 years before than somebody who is talking right now who is studying. So thank you very much for sharing your information. What do you think about Finding the Voices? Any comments, feedback from your side?
I discovered about Finding the Voices 2 years back on a holiday back in Manipur, back at home, and I was very happy, and I think it's a very great platform for people to learn about things other than culture. They can learn about career, food, and music. So it's very good platform, and I feel very honored, and it's a privilege for me to hear on Finding the Voice.
Thank you very much for your time today, and wishing you good luck for your future, and I'm hoping to hear more about your work in future.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have a nice day.